Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, I'm going to be talking about the Nigerian 2023 elections and basically everything that is going on, why it is very important for us to, in quotes, lend our voices or for us to be aware of the things that are happening. The reason I wanted to make this video, apart from the fact that somebody actually gave me the idea, but the reason I wanted to make this video is because I've never really spoken on Nigerian politics because politics is such a dicey subject or a very dicey topic. The reason is because sometimes when you make videos like this or when you pick a side, in the future you don't know what is going to happen and things like that will come and haunt you. And the internet is just a very interesting place. Once you put something out there, it's out there forever. You can't actually take it back. Me personally, I keep up with American politics a lot, and recently I actually just realized that politics is something that I am very interested in, and I'm like, you know what, let me come and make not really a comprehensive video, but I'm going to do my best. But let me make a video to just document this whole thing in history and how Nigeria has, in quotes, progressed, and basically just what is going on. I feel like other people who may not even know about Nigerian politics may or may not be interested in this video, and I just think that it's just a good record to put out there. So as much as I can, I'm going to break down every single thing and how things have been and where we are going and where we actually hope to be. And I feel like I can speak for a lot of Nigerians, and most of my opinions, of course, they're going to be biased because I already support one particular political party. And well, we'll unpack every single thing in the video. Before I get into it, please make sure that you give this video a thumbs up. Please make sure that you also subscribe and make sure that you turn on the notification bell so you'll be notified of every single time that I post a new upload. So I'm going to start with the most basic facts, okay, because I'm trying to be more inclusive in case other people who are not Nigerians want to watch this video. So Nigeria is the most populous country in West Africa, and there is still a debate on how many people are actually in Nigeria. Some people say 200 million, some people say that's a fabricated number, but let's just be on the safe side and say we are over 100 million people in Nigeria. Nigeria, being one of the most populous countries in Africa, largely affects the continent's politics and economy. So as Nigeria prepared for the 2023 elections, there were several critical issues at stake: the economy, security, and of course our political landscape. So I would say that these 2023 elections were very, very important because now we see that a lot of young people are no longer apathetic when it comes to politics, because in Nigerian terms, it don't touch everybody. The hardship has actually touched everybody, even people who are the elites. So now it's such a very delicate time because everybody is complaining. We make jokes about it on Twitter and we say things like, oh my god, what is actually working in Nigeria? Because there is cash scarcity. Okay, Nigerians are not actually able to access cash, their own currency, their own naira. We are literally buying naira the way we buy dollars, and it's absolutely crazy. The insecurity has been through the roof. We still have issues with electricity in 2023 and issues with the internet, and even our bank apps, our mobile bank apps, some of them are not working as they should because more people are depending on transfers because of the cash scarcity. So it's just been one problem to another, and it's so frustrating because these are the most basic things that you would expect that societies or advanced societies have already solved, and here it's still like such a big deal. It's kind of like an irony, or should I say a paradox, because you oftentimes you see Nigerians, maybe they are abroad and they are flexing money and they have a lot of money, and you look at the country and you see that we are one of the poverty capitals of the world. So it's just a very interesting paradox, and one of the reasons is because of our very incompetent leaders. I'm going to try to sound neutral or to just censor myself in this video because of how delicate the political landscape is. Sometimes when you say something, they can just wrongfully detain you, and maybe they don't even want to listen or look at the law to know what they are actually supposed to do. So it's just very crazy. That's why a lot of people, maybe your favorite influencers, may not even want to talk about it. And honestly, I respect it, I understand, because it is a big risk. So I've broken down this video into 5 main talking points, and I'm going to try to explain them as much as I can, and I apologize in advance if it's very, very lengthy. So the first thing I want to talk about is Nigeria and our bad leaders. So over the years, Nigeria has just been deteriorating, and This is because of the quality of leaders that we keep on producing. Sometimes I just don't even understand how people will complain about how the quality of their lives is poor and how things are just not working for them. But at the same time, when it comes to voting for people that would change things. Sometimes it starts to infuse ethnic or tribal sentiments into the picture. Let's say there are over 250 ethnic groups, and many people are just more inclined to vote for whoever belongs to their own ethnic group. For some reason, I don't understand the rationale behind it, but it's actually a thing. And I'm not just going to place the quality of our leaders. I'm not just going to place that fault on Nigerians, because we have actually done our part. Sometimes we do our part and our leaders are just very greedy and selfish, and they will just want to rig the elections and falsify the results. So over the years, let's say from 1999 up until now, I mean, I was still really young back then, but from then up until now, it's just been like from bad to worse and from worse to the worst test. Many of the times you see, maybe if you travel to states or even local governments, you see that they're not actually doing things that they're supposed to do for the people that they're leading, especially the most basic things like power and roads. You would expect that these are just regular staples, like these are just things that people should actually do, but they just don't do it, and it really affects the quality of life of people. So there are 36 states in Nigeria. Some of the states are more developed than others, and major cities are Abuja, Port Harcourt, Lagos, and the rest of them. In these very different states, we have governors. Same thing with many other countries in the world, really. We have governors, we have local governments and things like that, but it's just really unfortunate that the leaders who the people elect and leaders who the people actually believe in are just there to launder money, are just there to steal money from people, tax people, take their money, and not actually use the money that they're taxing them to do anything. So oftentimes you go into rural areas or into communities and you see how backwards their lives are, because let's say there's no light and people are still warming soup every day to preserve the soup. Like all those very annoying things that should be in the past by 2023 or by the 21st century. Nigerian politicians, they just don't take accountability for it. And things like, let's say, something as simple as roads, right? In a city that is very populated like Lagos, think of Lagos like your regular New York City, just a worse version of that. People commute to work every day. We have issues with traffic, and when it rains, there's flood everywhere. It makes people's lives so difficult. So I feel like that is one of our biggest problems in Nigeria, the fact that we have leaders who are incompetent and are just there to serve their own selfish political interests. So my next point is the recent hardship in Nigeria. As I mentioned at the beginning of this video that a lot of things in Nigeria are not working. Like, people are always asking that, okay, what actually works in this country? What is that institution or that infrastructure that we can say that, oh, this thing will always work no matter what? Nothing. You can't actually point to it. The hardship has gone from inflation to cash scarcity to insecurity to fuel going up and up and up. Like, prices of things are just going up and it doesn't just want to come down. Our economy is basically in shambles. If you're trying to buy dollars or if you're trying to, just do business, maybe as a regular business person, you're constantly running at a loss. And let's not even start talking about religious motivated violence, ethnic or tribal wars. It's just a lot to get into, and the country is really bleeding, despite the fact that you see people making content or making videos for YouTube or for Instagram or for any other social media platform. A lot of people are actually struggling. Some people can barely even survive on their monthly salaries. If you're feeling the heat as somebody who is relatively comfortable, you can imagine how difficult it is for less privileged people to go through their everyday lives. And it is such a shame that Nigerian politicians also weaponize poverty, because they like to keep people poor so that during elections every 4 years they'll come and be sharing, let's say, 500 naira. 500 naira is not a lot of money, in case you don't know. They'll be sharing 500 naira, 1000 naira, or they'll be sharing a bag of rice. Just all these very performative things that they do just because they want people to vote for them, and they capitalize on the ignorance of a lot of people, because many people who are in the rural areas, sometimes they're often too poor to even afford a basic education. And even when you see the schools that are in those rural areas, you feel so bad for those children, because you just be like, when we were younger, they used to tell us that, oh, children are the leaders of tomorrow. And right now we've grown up, and the leaders are still the people that were there when we were much younger. So it's just a lot that has been going on in the country. Even with the elections, you can also still see the tribal wars that are incited on social media and even off social media. You can even see them on websites and even in churches. After I'm done filming this video, I'm actually going to detox, because this thing takes a toll on my mind. I'm not even kidding. So generally, people are just getting tired of the hardship in Nigeria, and there are some organizations that are actually taking it upon themselves to better the community or better the environment of people who are living in poverty. For instance, Chess in Slums, I believe, is was founded by Tunde Onokoya. He's making like a very huge impact in the lives of children who are living in poverty, children who are less privileged, and things like that. So kudos to them for what they are doing. It is much appreciated, because these are the things that our government is actually supposed to be doing, but they don't even bat an eye to these people, because poverty is their number one weapon. So my next point is the interest in the 2023 elections. So ever since 2015, when President Muhammadu Buhari became Nigeria's president, unfortunately, things have just gone downhill. The party that he represents is APC, All Progressives Congress, I think, right? That's what they call them, Abby. It is just so ironic that the word progressive is in the acronym for that political party, because everything that they have done since they became the ruling party has just been backwards. There's nothing progressive that has happened. Bags of rice went from, let's say, 8,000 to about 25,000, 30,000. Like, things have just increased. I remember when people used to complain, and then I was even still young, around like maybe 2014, 2015, 2013, that, oh my god, $1 was like 150 naira, and people were seriously complaining about that. Right now, a dollar is nothing less than 700 naira in the black market, and maybe it's about 400 or 500 for bank rates. If people were complaining about the dollar being 150 naira back then, imagine how bad it is right now. So everything has just gone downhill ever since he became our president. And in 2019, when we were preparing for the re-elections, people were like, oh my god, you guys, we actually need to vote this man out. But unfortunately, people still voted for him again. And don't even be mistaken, I feel like the reason why Nigeria scrapped history in our educational curriculum was very, very intentional, because a lot of people keep voting for bad leaders because they don't actually know what happened in history. Buhari used to be like, I'm holding back because I don't want anybody to come and arrest me. This video that I'm making is actually really dangerous. I'm never going to lie. He used to be a freaking tyrant. So I just didn't understand why people were thinking he would make a good president. Under Buhari's regime was when Twitter was banned in Nigeria for about 6 months, I think, because somebody, I can't remember, I think somebody said something and he got butthurt. We thought it was a joke. Everybody woke up one morning and Twitter was just not working, so we all went to download VPNs, and it's been one bad thing or the other. Can we even talk about the NSAS protest? That one is a whole other topic that it drains me so much. Ever since APC became the ruling party, and even in our local governments and at the gubernatorial levels, everything has just been going downhill. It's just been so terrible, and people are like, you know what, we are tired. We are going to get our PVCs. PVC stands for permanent voters card. Every Nigerian that is eligible to vote needs a PVC to vote. So the political awareness generally just began during NSAS in 2020, and I won't say that people were not politically aware. People were aware, but it was just like there was this sense of hopelessness. So everybody was just like, you know what, I'm not even going to bother with Nigeria. Nigeria is not getting better. NSAS was basically like a very serious nationwide protest where many youths were protesting against police brutality and how Nigerian police were just treating young people in a very inhumane way. It went a really long way. We were trying to get them to ban SARS, and some people were even in prison for up to 2 years and counting. So it was such a crazy time. People lost their lives. People were killed at Lekki toll gates, and Nigerian soldiers literally opened fire on people. It's a really, really dark time in our history, and I don't even want to get into it. So, because of that, people were less apathetic towards politics, and they were like, you know what, come 2023, we actually need to vote these incompetent leaders out. So, from 2022, politicians started doing their campaigns for their different political parties against the 2023 elections, and many people were being sensitized to get their PVCs. So everybody was rushing. It was such a hassle because I know somebody that told me that he tried to get his PVC up to 10 times, but he couldn't get it. A lot of people were being sensitized to get their PVCs, and most people did. Many young people actually went and got their PVCs, and at least we were successful in that regard. So the reason why people were gingering to get their PVCs this time is because now there were three main, take note of my words, three main parties that were contesting for presidency in Nigeria. So we have APC, which is All Progressives Congress, we have PDP, People's Democratic Party, and then we have LP, which is Labour Party. First of all, Labour Party was not really known. Most people just know PDP, APC, and maybe in some cases APGA, which is APGA, or NNPC, I think. Labour Party was not really known, and people were a bit skeptical because they were like, okay, we don't really have a structure, a Labour Party, and people don't know Labour Party. People don't even know the Labour Party logo until Peter Obi. Okay, I'm going to interchange and say Peter Obi because please, I'm an Igbo babe. Okay, I don't have strength to be saying Peter Obi. I'll just say Peter Obi. So the Labour Party candidate, his name is Peter Obi or Peter Obi. The person who ran for PDP is Atiku Abubakar, and Bola Tinubu was running for APC. By all means, all of us were trying to resist the fact that Tinubu, or we are still trying to resist the fact that Tinubu is running under APC, and he's also running under a Muslim ticket. Now, if you don't know what that means, Nigeria is made up of both Muslims, Christians, and should I say traditional worshippers. So whenever you're picking a presidential ticket or anything like that, it is very important for you to, maybe if you're a Muslim and you're running, it's important for you to pick a Christian as a running mate. If you're a Christian and you're running, it's important for you to pick a Muslim as a running mate. This is so that people can actually feel represented, and it doesn't start looking like, oh my God, we're trying to Christianize Nigeria, or oh my God, we're trying to Islamize Nigeria. You get my point? So that's the ground rule, and the person running under APC, which is Bola Tinubu, BAT for short, or Agbado for short. He is running under a Muslim ticket. So a lot of Nigerians are just like, you know what, we are not having this. Nigeria accounts for, I think, 89% of Christian murders, and it's just been one sad story after the other. You'll be seeing people being massacred in church, and it's like, we don't want that. If we are under a Muslim Christian ticket right now, before the next presidential candidate is announced as the winner, if we're under that right now and people are dying, you can now imagine what it's going to be if we are under a Muslim ticket. It is an insult. In fact, it's an insult to the nation. So basically, more people were interested in politics. More young people were interested in politics. Even Gen Z, shuffling between Arise News and channels TV. We were literally watching news. Gen Z is not particularly into news like that. We mostly get news from, let's say, Twitter or from all these Instagram bloggers and things like that. But we were so, or we are, let me say we are, because at the time I'm making this video, we still are. We are so, interested in politics this time around because of the person who is running under Labour Party, which is Peter Obi. So Peter Obi was the former governor of Anambra State. People would do background checks on you if you're running for any political office and know what you've done and what you've not done, the things that you've actually accomplished. And everybody was like, you know what, he may not be perfect and he may not be a saint. Nobody is actually a saint, but so far he is actually the best. And even me, I believe this, he's the best out of the three of them. Okay, Atiku doesn't give a flying flip about us in Nigeria. He just wants to have it in his resume that he was once the president. Since 1999 has been running for president and he has always lost. I think he should just go and sit. I really don't understand why people like Tinubu and Atiku are running for president, because these are people who have stolen all the money that we have in this country. And as far as I'm concerned, they could be living very comfortable lives. So it's just like, what more do you want? You're just trying to be greedy. Allow younger people to lead. That's what I was saying in my first point, that Nigerian leaders are just they're just interested in their own gain. They don't actually care about people. And many people make the arguments that, oh, when Tinubu was the governor of Lagos, that Lagos was actually really good, but that's not true. So now I'm going to talk about the elections, propaganda, tribal wars, rigging, and voter suppression, every single thing. The 2023 elections was held on the 25th of February 2023, and it was a Saturday. So many people were going out to vote. Initially, people were like, oh my God, Labour Party, you people are just tweeting from Twitter. You guys don't actually have PVCs. It was such a pleasant surprise that P2B's party, Labour Party, won in so many polling units, and it was just obvious because people were actually making videos. So we had video evidence. So this is not about, oh, them say, in case you're not Nigerian, this is not about hearsay. Okay. It was actually documented, and everybody was really happy that, okay, people were coming out to vote, and people were sensitizing those that were in the rural areas. So teaching them about the basics of voting. We were, at least happy that there was a lot of voter turnouts and people were actually voting for Labour Party, because we all just want a change in Nigeria. Now, prior to the elections and everything, we had members or groups from the APC camp. APC is the group that is running the Muslim tickets, right? They are the ones that are mostly inciting tribal wars and saying things about Igbo people, making this ethnic divide between Igbo and Yoruba people. And it's so sad, because I have friends who are Yoruba. I love them regardless of wherever they are from. It was just such a shame to see that they were using that as a smear campaign, or using that to just incite some tribal wars so that people would be at war with each other. And they were trying to paint Labour Party as an Igbo Christian party, and trying to say that, oh, Labour Party is trying to turn Nigeria into Biafra. Biafra is another whole different topic, but Biafra was basically what happened during the Nigerian Civil War. The Igbos in Nigeria wanted to secede from Nigeria as a country, and we wanted our own country, but we lost the war that was called the Biafran War. So if the Igbos were to succeed, the country that they would be living in would be called Biafra. And that's why we call it the Biafran War, or the Nigerian Civil War. And many people lost their lives, and each Igbo family was given £20 to rebuild their lives. And it was just a very, very horrible, and I don't even like to think about the things that happened there. Unfortunately, they don't teach these things in history in class anymore. And PDP people as well, PDP people that are supporting Atiku, they too were trying to do their own. But I just feel like PDP is such a dumbass party. Like, I'm sorry, I just have to put that out there. So basically, the strife was mostly between APC and Labour Party. But fortunately, Labour Party actually won at many polling units across the country, and we have this documented. Now let's talk about voter suppression and rigging. The election results were obviously rigged, because I think about 3 nights later, INEC, which is the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC in Nigeria, they're the ones that conduct elections in Nigeria. They wrongfully announced Bola Tinubu as the president of Nigeria. And of course, nobody is surprised, because I'm sure that Tinubu must have used money to do one or two magic tricks here and there. It was just so clear that nobody wanted this man to be our president, because the streets were so quiet. Everybody was quiet. They announced it by like 3 a.m. in the morning when everybody was sleeping, and it was just very, very, very sad. Literally nobody was rejoicing, not even the thugs that he hired were rejoicing. If anybody was actually rejoicing, they weren't actually coming out to say it on social media. So it's just been really, really sad. Everybody's like, you know what, I give up. People have actually lost hope. Before we even talk about rigging, right, let's talk about them trying to suppress votes in the first place. Polling unit is where people are designated to vote. So in some polling units, they would tell people that if you're not voting for APC, don't come here. If you're not voting for Tinubu, don't come here. And that's so wrong, because you shouldn't deny anybody of their right to exercise their civic duties. Do you understand? They were outrightly disenfranchising people, telling them that if they were not voting for a particular political party, that they shouldn't vote. And that's literally against the Nigerian constitution. Why should you tell people who to vote for, or threaten their lives? And people actually died. People lost their lives. People were badly injured. I remember there was this woman that was even hit with a glass or something near her eye, and she still came out to vote. That's how desperate people are, or people were, for P2B to win these elections, because everybody is like, you know what, we are tired of these old men who are just trying to take Nigeria and squeeze out all the life out of it. The fact that they were really trying to incite this tribal violence between Igbos and Yoruba people, and even to some extent Hausa people. So the thing is that Nigeria is made up of over 200 ethnic groups, and there are different tribes, different languages. We have the Ibibios, the Thieves, Ijos, the Fulanis, the Oron, the Eket, the Anang. I don't even know all of them. These ones are even just the ones that any regular person would know, because they don't actually teach us these things in school. So what we're taught in school is that there are three major tribes, and it's not major tribe because of anything serious. It's just because of their population size. Okay, we have the largest populations in the country, so that's the Igbo, the Yoruba, and the Hausa Fulani. There are also other tribes, I think they were added, I think Ijo and some others, Sha. But most people just know three major tribes: Igbo, Yoruba, Hausa. Some people ignorantly just say, oh, if you're not Igbo, you're not Yoruba, then you're Hausa. If you're not Hausa or you're not Yoruba, then you're Igbo. If you're not Igbo, you're not Yoruba, you're Hausa. Those ignorant comments like that, and it's a shame, because each group should be identified and be honored for who they truly are, but that's just one of those things. Okay, so the issue with voter suppression was even more apparent during the gubernatorial elections, because so many people did not actually come out, because they were literally threatening people to not come out to vote, that they were going to kill them if they were not going to vote for APC. People were hiring thugs to come and intimidate and bully people not to vote. And the gubernatorial elections were so important, because besides electing a president at the federal level, I feel like at the state level and just at the smaller areas where people should be interested in politics, many people don't really pay attention to it. But because everybody is on that wave of, okay, we need to participate in politics more, people became more interested in the gubernatorial elections. The one in Lagos was such a big deal, because one of the candidates was running under Labour Party. His name is Badebo Rhodes Vivo. Okay, sorry, I don't know how to pronounce his Yoruba name very well, but his name, let's just call him GRV. Okay, so GRV was running under the Labour Party. He was the candidate for Labour Party in Lagos State, and many people were trying to paint him as not Lagosian enough, because they said that his mom is Igbo and his name is Chinedu. Crazy thing is that GRV is actually an indigenous of Lagos. The other two people, I think Jando and Sonwolu, are not actually from Lagos, but they are Yoruba people. In fact, all of them are Yoruba, but only one of them is actually from Lagos and can actually trace his ancestry to Lagos State. But because APC is just a very demonic and evil party, they try to incite tribal wars, and they try to start telling people that Igbo person is trying to become the governor of Lagos. Lagos is the Yoruba state. That how many Yoruba people actually go to the east and become governors and things like that. They were just making very ignorant comments and making it look as if Igbo people would never let another person to come and rule over them. People always say that, oh, the Igbos are not united. The reason people say that is because Igbo people don't do my brother, my brother. If your brother is being stupid, they'll probably not support that person. Even if you're from the same family or you're from the same village or anything, we don't do things like that. We give people their merits based on what they do. But basically, they were trying to incite this whole tribal war that, oh my god, GRV, his name is Chinedu, his mom is Igbo. His mom is Igbo, just his mom. His dad is Yoruba. So they were trying to say that, oh, Igbo people are trying to take over Lagos. And they even started saying that Igbo people are saying that Lagos is a no man's land, and that's not true. Lagos is and will always be and has always been a Yoruba state. Nothing is going to change it. It's literally in the west. So I really don't understand why people were trying to say that Lagos is a no man's land. It just so happens that Lagos is where you find a lot of people. It's one of the, if not the most populated states. Ultimately, GRV didn't win the gubernatorial elections because of voter suppression, and people were just telling people to not come out and vote for him. And Nigerians are at a point where they're like, you know what, I can't actually die for this country, because if I die for this country, things are going to move on and probably even get worse. So what's the point of me laying my precious life down because of Nigeria? So my final point is the results, the national divide, and basically where we are right now. Now, Peter Obi is currently in court, and he's challenging not just the election results, but he's challenging Bola Ahmed Tinubu's candidacy as the president to begin with, because there are so many things that are wrong. He was convicted of a drug case, I think in Chicago, America, and the fact that he's even running a Muslim ticket, which is a very huge insult to the nation. I believe that they're trying to sort out the whole thing, and I really hope that things go well. I hope that he is actually announced as the legitimate president, because P2B is the one that everybody strived so hard to get their voters card for. It's just such a shame that even the Nigerian judiciary system and even INEC, that's supposed to be independent. Remember, INEC, Independent National Electoral Commission, there's nothing independent about them. Okay, they are as biased as they can get, and they are biased towards APC, which is the ruling party. PDP, I believe PDP is also in court, but I don't even know why those ones are in court, because those ones rigged the elections as well. So it's just become a case of how the Labour Party is, showing some integrity. More people have actually been elected in, let's say, the House of what's Rep or House of Senate, the House of Assembly for the Labour Party, right? So now we have a structure which is really good, but our main bone of contention is the presidential elections and the results. And hopefully things will actually go well. Hopefully Peter B is announced as a president, and if he isn't, then honestly, it's only God that will actually help us, because the way things are going, I try my best to not be a pessimistic person, but when it comes to Nigeria, sometimes you just lose all hope. So at the state level, people are happy that they have actually voted out the bad eggs. For instance, Senate, what's this guy's name, Chimaroke Namani, and is it Governor Ikpazu of Abia State? Yeah, Abia State and Enugu. I'm happy that they have new leaders, and hopefully their leaders can actually perform well, especially those who were elected under Labour Party. Even in Osun State, I believe Governor Ademola Adeleke, he is actually under APC, but he seems to be doing a really good job, and everybody's really happy with him. Same thing with Shey Makinde of Oyo State, Ibadan. Some places are actually happy that they have good news, and some people have better leaders, and it's really, really good. And we're just hoping for the best at the national or at the federal level. Results of these elections, many people are cutting off their friends. Some people are even cutting off their family members for supporting APC, because the atrocities that have been committed by APC, they are just unimaginable. And when you think about it, you'll be like, nobody who has your best interest at heart, no politician who has your best interest at heart will be inciting ethnic violence or tribal violence, or be incentivizing people to stop people from exercising their civic duties, or to disenfranchise people. Nobody that has your best interest at heart will be doing all those things. So when people support APC, it's just like, look at what you're supporting. These are people who are literally spilling blood like it's nothing, wasting people's lives. And these are people who are weaponizing poverty, because APC, they try to use all these agberos, in quotes. Agberos would just mean, what's the English word now? Lout. Okay, what Nigerians call tout is actually called lout. Just putting that out there. They incentivize these louts on the streets to intimidate and bully people to not vote. And it's like, how are you supporting something as vile and evil and demonic as these people? Honestly, it's almost as if being an APC supporter is like they remove your brain. Because some of the things that they even say, when you see APC people on Twitter, some of the things that they say, it is just crazy. It's almost as if they don't think before they actually talk. But that's besides the point. There's so many things that I could actually just get into, but I don't want this video to be unnecessarily long. There are some people that I have blocked, people that I knew from school. I blocked them because I just don't even want to have anything to do with them. Not like we're friends or anything, but the fact that I went to a school like Covenant, where they used to emphasize on the importance of leadership and how it is so important for a community and for every society to have good leadership. And to see these people who were taking DLD classes with me, development in leadership studies or something, that's what DLD was in Covenant University. So to see people who went through those classes now coming to support oppression is just so crazy. And that's all I'm going to say. By and large, things in Nigeria are looking very, very crazy and dicey. And what even makes it sadder is the fact that we are actually doing our best to fight the opposition party or to fight the ruling party, but they always just resort to violence. They always just resort to killing people and injuring people. And people are just like, I don't want to die for this country. And that's why you see a lot of people leaving the country. We're having brain drain. Talented people, professors, doctors, nurses, lawyers, people who can actually help us, move the country forward, are leaving because they're like, you know what, I can't die for this country. Let me go to somewhere that things are working. And that's why you see the migration in Nigeria has seriously increased. From in fact, from 2020, people started leaving. I hope that you guys were able to understand the things that are happening. Maybe you're somebody that doesn't really care much for politics, or maybe you're just somebody that observes from the background. I hope that this video was able to enlighten you, and I actually hope that this video will go really far. Like, I want our children to watch these things and to know the things that are actually happening, because now that they don't teach history in schools anymore, it's just a shame. And in one way or the other, we actually need to preserve our history. We need to retell these stories so that if in the future things actually get better, people will not make these mistakes again. Okay, thank you guys so much for sticking with me. Thank you for watching this video. If you have any other thing to add in the comments, please feel free to add it. Please feel free to keep it very, very respectful. Please, I don't want any form of ethnic or tribal wars or anything like that. Like, I don't want my space to be condoning things like that. If I got any facts wrong as well, just let me know in the comments too. And yeah, I guess that's everything. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. Don't forget to also subscribe, turn on my notification bell so that you know every time I post a new upload. Okay, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye.